A Few Acres of Snow is an area control and deck building game for 2 players. It plays in between 60 and 90 minutes. Each player takes a side in the French and Indian War and tries to either siege the other side into submission or develop the best society by the time the game ends. At the start of the game, each player picks a side and places their starting markers on the board. Spaces that are colored red start under British control. Spaces that are colored blue start under French control. Square spaces start with settlements. Circular spaces start with cities. On each player's turn, that player takes 2 actions. Those actions can be buy a new card, settle a new area, get money, use a special action card, or discard cards or reserve cards for later. They can also take cards out of reserve or start a combat action. To gain action cards, simply use an action to gain the action card and pay the cost listed at the top of the card. Location cards also have symbols that are useful in other actions. Settlers help settle settlements. Ships and boats help get to new settlements. Each settlement card also has other settlements that it's connected to by a kind of transportation. To settle a new territory, the player must play a card corresponding to the territory he already controls. He must then also play a mode of transportation that would get him to that new territory, and sometimes a settler. Settlements can be upgraded to cities by playing that city's card from your hand along with a card with a settler symbol on it. To begin a siege, a player plays a city that can access the city he wants to siege, the kind of transportation he needs to get there, and an attack card. Every settlement has a default defense value of 1. Fortifications add 1 to that. In subsequent turns, players can use their actions to play additional attack cards on the active siege. The siege ends when one player starts their turn with the advantage in the siege. If the attacking player wins, he may take over the space that he just attacked. Players can also attack each other through raid and ambush actions. Ambushes allow players to take attack cards out of each other's hands or reserve areas. Raids allow players to destroy each other's settlements or downgrade cities to settlements. The game ends when one of 4 things happens. The British player sieges Quebec successfully, the French player sieges New York or Boston successfully, or one player runs out of either settlement or city tokens. If the game ends because one player ran out of markers, then the player who has the most points on the board wins.